Well, thank you, Anthony Dalton II. I know we always have to put the second on
Yeah,
there.
man. My mom will have a fit. She's been married for years.
Yeah.
She's like, yo, you better tell him the second, or either put your
Second.
whole middle name in there too.
No, definitely. Well, we are happy to have you today. You actually took a skyrocketed, career with when you got to Atlanta. You 8 months in, started working with Tyler Perry, and then just everything started to take off for you. But now, in the light of things, it's Calvin. He has become
Yeah.
synonymous for the new type of African American man. I don't think women are ready for.
Mm. Um. Well, I think the thing is, it's all about being comfortable with who you are and being fully transparent. It's like a lot of people say they want transparency. Just be honest, just be who you are, and give me the option to, what I'm saying, deal with what I want to deal with. And then Calvin, he's done just that. I've gotten into so many debates. We were doing a press junket. What was it last? Like when we were about to premiere the show, and some reporter she was like, tell me about your character. And I said, Calvin's a quintessential nice guy. And then she was like, is he, cut me off, like, is he really? And I'm like,
Wow.
well, what do you mean? Well, he wears panties. And I'm like, so that doesn't make him a nice guy? And so, it goes into question, like, what do women really want? Do you want full transparency like Calvin was? And because Sabrina likes him,
Yeah.
but we're so easily influenced by others, our friends, our family, society, social media. And oh, well, if I'm seen with him, how are people going to perceive me? And so,
Hmm.
playing Calvin was like a true blessing to.
Yeah.
There's so many people who contact me. It's like, yo, bro, thank you for telling my story. I'm not a gay man, but I like certain things where people, may deem that as suspect or too feminine, or, if you take care of your hands, your manicure, your pedicure, it's like, oh, you a little bit too. And it's like, how are you too?
Yeah.
So it's dope playing Calvin.
No, and I think the amazing part is there's always a progression with him pushing. He's not actually pushing the boundaries himself. He's not like setting out to start a trend or something. He's just being
Mm-mm.
himself. But every time it becomes a thing, it was like once when it came to like the underwear, and then when it came to the bedroom, then it was like, oh, I want to try these things, and then each time she went back to talk to her friends, and then to the gay friends, and never ever back to Calvin. And Calvin was always very transparent, like.
I've said that. I've said that. I said that to the reporter. I said Calvin has been fully transparent this whole show. Sometimes when we snap, people only remember that part of us snapping. Like, my mom used to tell me, you can do 99 things right and good for somebody, and they're only going to remember that one time you either said no or you had a bad day.
Yeah.
They're only going to remember that. And so if you look at the episodes leading up to when we set Sabrina up in the bedroom, Calvin has been nice, has been a gentleman, this, and he had some unpacking to do because he was going through, his father passed or was on his deathbed, but he never like told her that. So that goes to show you what we deal with. We put on masks a lot. We
Hmm.
have all this other stuff going on in our lives, but to society, especially as Black people, Black men especially, and Black women, we have to go out and we can't show weakness.
Yeah.
We have to continue to live our lives. Like, being Black is lit, but it's also dangerous too. You know what I'm saying? Amongst ourselves, amongst society, amongst white people, it's But Calvin has been fully transparent with Sabrina, and then he just lashed out one time, and then everybody's like, "Oh, abusive! Oh my God, how can he do that? Girl, you need to leave him." I love reading Twitter. I love when the show. That's like my pleasure. I wasn't really
A Twitter post.
a man. I wasn't until I booked the show, and that was like, yo, these fans are crazy, and
Crazy.
I love it because it's so many different perspectives of, what do you think masculinity is?
Yeah.
You got some women, you have some women who will say, I want a man to be, I want a man to open up. I want a man to And then it's like, oh, you have that. And then all of a sudden, ooh, he a little bit too soft. And it's like, well, oh, but now if I'm hard and I don't hug you and I'm like, oh, I'm a little stiff, you can be like, well, I want you to be a little sensitive. It's like I've learned on playing Calvin, there is never a perfect medium. Like it's never going to be perfect. One person gonna say, the perfect person does not exist. It just
Yeah.
doesn't. It's what you deal with. I think Sabrina on the show, she really feels Calvin. She
Yeah.
really likes him. It's like, okay, well, he was just raised different.
Yeah.
Then you go into the construct of him and his father. You're raised by two gay men, but they're also white gay men.
Yep.
So that's the cultural difference.
Yep.
And Calvin's a straight man, but his parents are like, yo, whatever you want to do to be happy,
Yeah.
do that. So if you want to dress up as a princess for Halloween, go on and do that. I'm not gonna stop you because I don't want to judge you because people easily judge us. And he told the story about so many people judging
Hmm.
him. They first started and they got, persecuted and beat up and stuff like that for their beliefs. So the last thing his parents wanted to do was, make him live in fear and be uncomfortable.
No,
But
definitely.
at a certain time, it's like, yo, everybody has a breaking point.
Uh-huh.
Like, dude,
And
Calvin changed his underwear for this good woman. He was like, dude,
right.
I've been doing this for 30 something years, and now all of a sudden it's wrong, but I really like you. And that goes to show you what we do compromise, because he's made compromises, but Sabrina, has she really made any compromise?
Not
She
at
keeps
all.
going back to her homegirls, like, yo, he's wearing underwear, and he used my vibrator, and this. It's like, yo, some things you don't need to tell your girl. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you don't need to tell your people all that stuff, you
Yeah,
know?
some stuff needs to say in the bedroom.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, where did you out? I mean, what do you, first of all, and first of all, I love all the characters.
Yeah.
I love them all, especially the four sisters. Um, but you have Danny, who has these trust issues. People go information from people who maybe you shouldn't get information from. You got
Yep.
Andy, he dating a married man, all kinds of stuff, and then you have Karen, who is just like, you know, um, this. She wants to love, and she gave her heart to somebody, but now she's got this wall up, and you know what I'm saying. So you've got all these different aspects, and it's like, yeah, they're gonna get up there and tell you their opinions, but just because someone has an opinion does not mean that you have to run with what they do. Everybody get down a certain way, you know.
No, definitely. And I think that's and the good part is I want to go back to when you talked about the parents. I think the issue there too is because everyone attributes his preferences in like underwear or even sexual preferences as something that is a connotation of of being gay that he's
Right.
probably learned from his parents, but that does not necessarily transfer over just because you were raised by them. It's not like as if they put those like these tools in front of him and they aren't letting him be a human and saying, hey, he's just, I don't even want to say sexual fluidity because then that still has a connotation that maybe he does, does his own thing and with
Right.
different genders, but that he just is a person who has who has no normative to what a man should like, wear, dress, eat, or sleep, or do anything.
He doesn't conform to what society deems as, and you got to realize Calvin's 30 something, really 30. So he's been battle tested. He tells a story about, like, look, I played football and my fathers had to watch my games at an old lady's house across the street on her balcony because they didn't want to embarrass, Calvin.
Yeah.
So he's dealt with all of this, but I think the difference is with dealing with a woman.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Dealing with a woman who he actually wants to see. Brother was checking her out for 3 weeks at the bank. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was clocking her for a minute. So I think anything, and I've told this to me and my couple of my friends, we have conversations. It's so funny. I said a woman can make you feel like you're on top of the world, or can easily, with one sentence, crush you. Because
Yeah.
everything we do in our society is for the acceptance of women, like God. Like, it's like Dave Chappelle. He said, if a man could have sex with a woman in a cardboard box, he wouldn't buy a house. Because of the simple fact that, yo, everything we do is for the acceptance. Men drive nice cars
Mm-hmm.
because women like nice cars. You know what I'm saying? Like, if Beyonce said, I want a man who's got a 95 Civic,
Yeah.
every dude would be like, yo, I'm about to go get in these Civics, which just go through the roof. Like, yo, Beyonce said, you got to drive a Civic. But we're trying to be, you know what I'm saying? That's what Calvin did. I mean, he made a compromise. Sabrina has not really made a
compromise at all.
You know, he changed his word. He's like, look, you know, and even he talked to his father. His father was like, yo, yeah, those underwear, I mean, I ain't want to say nothing, but those underwear kind of, you know, I can see how her, you know, and it's all about conversation. You know, Sabrina never opened up to Calvin except when it hit the brink. You know what I'm saying? When it hit, like, I like a man with dirty fingernails and all this.
Oh, yeah, all that stuff. Wait, what? Why?
When I read the script, I was like, okay, like, but here's the thing. That is the in some people's mind, the idea of manliness.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, heaven forbid, if you know, I get my nails clean. I like the way I do a skin regimen. I take care of my body. But also, I have other layers. Like, yo, you're not gonna try me on the street. Like, if somebody, I can still protect my woman. You know, if push came to shove. Far be it from that. Because I think when we don't understand something in our society, what we do, we want to make it plain because it's easier for us to make it plain. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, this is definitive. This is what it is, and I can understand that. Rather than, and we're also lazy.
Yep.
Because if you're a certain way and I don't get it, I'm easily like, I don't understand it because I don't do that.
Yeah.
I don't do that. So I'm like, and that's too much work for me to try to get to know you. Like, get to know why you do stuff. I've stopped doing this. I've said like this, well, about a year ago, I said, I'm done calling women like, you know, emotional. I'm done with that because what it is because I don't walk the same path that you walk on. I easily give you a title.
Yep.
Because I'll never experience what you're going through, like physically, emotionally as a woman. So it's easy. A lot of guys be like, man, you're emotional. You're just emotional. And it's like, no, you can't do that. Like, you can't give somebody a label based on just because you don't understand. Instead, why don't you get to try to understand where they're coming from instead of being lazy and just being like, yeah, you're that. I don't want to mess with it. That's who you are, you know.
No, definitely. And disregarding it, I think it also it takes away from you being looked at as a human too, you know, because when you talked about her going back to her girlfriends instead of the thing is, it's so funny because also I see that it puts another light on for women in general, even black women, to like really look at how they are sincere on what they really want and be honest with themselves. You know, because all four of the different sisters, they all, besides, you know, Sabrina with going for Calvin, all keep saying they want a certain thing. But each time they're actually either negating it by having a negative connotation with it, or they're actually doing the opposite action of it. I want love, and I'm gonna deal with someone who's married. I want a guy to be transparent and honest, and I want him to be down for me. And you have this man who sits there, you could say not stalk, but you know, came to the bank 3 weeks in a row to see you,
chivalry.
Up to you.
Just chivalry. Plain old, good old fashioned. I want to take you out. I would really like to take you on a date. Well, first of all, he ain't stalking. He had business. Like, he wasn't just taking fake checks just to Calvin got a whole real estate company. Like, he's making money. So he's just, oh, well, I know I can direct deposit. Well, cool.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And it's so funny that you said that. I always say, like, when I was in high school, there were women, there were girls who wouldn't even look at me, always dated older, or they had this whole package of what they wanted. he's got to be between the height of 6 feet to 7'2", and he's got to have abs, and his skin got to be clear. He got to be light skinned and dark skinned. He got to have a beard and a goatee. He's got to have all these. He's got to make between $1 million and $1 billion. And it's like, what? But as you get older, you realize this perfect person that you're trying to mold, and you're trying to, like a salad bar, you're trying to take this little bit from here. That person does not exist. As you get older, you realize what your priorities are. You know, I want someone who loves and cares for you. The package may not be. I'm not far be it from me. I don't want to tell people to settle, but I'm saying, like, you have this total package that you think you want, and then first of all, it ends up being false. Like, it ends up, first dates are you're reading the person's references.
Yep.
That's why Calvin is so interesting, because you got to realize the first season of the show only takes place within, like, I want to say, like, a week and a half.
Yeah.
Right, because we did 25 episodes, but it takes place within a week, and everybody's like, why are they still wearing the same clothes? And I'm like, it's not day to day. It's ain't like an episode of Martin or something. Like, these are continuing. So, no one is fully, and for Calvin to be fully transparent like that says a lot. Like, I'm putting all my cards on the table. This is who I am. And he said, like, yo, I don't think nothing's wrong with my underwear. But you're putting this pressure on me. Maybe I need to, switch it up to just check your temperature. But then it hit the fan when she tried to set me up, and I found out, and it's like, all right, well, I'm gonna give you a dose of your medicine. I'm gonna make you look stupid real quick. And I was, Calvin was done with it. But then and that's also a thing, because tragedy can bring people together. It's so many layers to Calvin, man. It's really dope. Listening to the comments, because one minute Twitter, they like, oh, they ready to drag you because you said something, and it also exposes a lot about people when they watch. That's the big thing, because you get a lot of people who are like, yo, I would leave him alone, girl. He too this, he too that. And 9 times out of 10, you in a relationship, that man do this thing to you, and you like, he love me though, but he don't do that. That's why you got Calvin is like the quintessential nice guy. But I mean, I guess.
No, I think that's funny that that you said about Twitter, because I was looking at some of the tweets, and I think you did one of the Kevin Hart ones where a female said something like, "No, that's gay. Just be honest with yourself." And you did you replied with the Kevin Hart tweet, "Say what?" And I was laughing because you said how guys reached out and said, "Thanks for letting me know, like, this is something acceptable, that I can just be myself." But then you have all these women more so, telling you, just be honest. You like men. Your character is gay. Did it open up your eyes to how open Black men can be, or men can be, to like their own sexuality, their own masculinity?
Well, I mean, I live in Atlanta, Georgia. But I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana, which isn't the most progressive. You know what I'm saying? It's getting there, but it's not. It's still like red state. You know what I'm saying? But coming here, and really 10 years, almost 11 years ago, really opened my eyes to like the LGBTQ community, especially, and being in the industry. It's like, if you say you're just discriminating against homosexuals and you're in the entertainment business, it's like, really? Like, you may not want to work. Like, you know what I'm saying? But it opened up my eyes. I knew a little bit about, like I said, the LGBTQ, because love who you love, do what you do. I don't judge anybody. It's not like it's not for me to understand why somebody does something. Do you? But this was new to me because of a straight man just liking certain things. And once again, we give people labels. Like you said, the women on Twitter, oh, just say you gay, just say you. It's like, why? Because he's not. Any man who puts something there and does, where's this, he gay. Because you're not open to people raised different, people have different experiences. People do this. Then it comes out that he had trauma. Calvin had trauma. His uncles or his, his people, his real people, blood people, made him have sex with an older woman who's 40 and he was like 9.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's trauma, but no one wants to hear that.
Yeah.
Everyone just wants to give a label. We learned more about Calvin, and I've talked to my cats. I was like, where's Calvin gonna go this season? Because we learned, Jesus, like we learned a lot in season 1 about him. We learned about his parents. We learned about his upbringing. We learned about his trauma. We learned about his taste in undergarments. Like we learned the sexual preference. I'm like, I had to hit Tyler. I'm like, yo, man, I think we might have spent all on Calvin. He's like, nah, we good. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, we discovered a lot about it.
Where else can we go with him?
Where else can we go from him? But it opened my eyes to, people just want to label something because they don't understand it. And, and it's hard because it comes from other people's upbringing. When you live in a state or like Indiana or, anywhere in the Midwest, these people, some people on Twitter will say, oh, these stories aren't real. These aren't real because you live in Wyoming. Like and they probably are real, but they're very, covered up. You know what I'm saying? Here in Atlanta, California, Atlanta, Miami, these progressive cities, it's more open. That's why when people from other states come to those places, they're like, oh my God, this is new because these cities are the great. Everybody else is pretty much black and white. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I do this way, and it's very straight. Atlanta, Miami, LA, very do you, man. So even New York to a certain extent, like do y'all, they do bigger. But I discovered that a lot of people, just want to give someone a label, and in hindsight, they need to probably take a look at themselves because everyone will claim to be progressive. Everybody will say, "Oh man, I'm progressive." Now, if your man did this, you'd be like, "Hey, I ain't that progressive." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, I have 6 sisters. I know. I have 6 black sisters. I definitely know.
Yeah, I got 3 sisters. And I was raised in the household with my mom, my older sister, and my grandmother. So, yeah.
How does what you call it? Thank you for this. I always want to be considerate of your time and everything. Okay, perfect. How does do you have debates with your girlfriend about this? About Calvin? What does she think when you talk to her about this?
She's more sometimes like, dang, you shirtless again? You having another thing? You doing this? Blah blah blah. It's not with it's nothing that we discuss about like as far as character. It's just like my man is on television kissing and doing all this stuff. But it's more of people coming to her, probably like just asking her like, yo, because if you do a good job at what you do as an actor, your job is to make it look as effortless as possible. Mm-hmm. Like you are this character. I don't want you to see any remnants of Anthony Dalton. Like I want you to see Calvin. And if you've never seen Anthony Dalton, that's your first encounter. So of course you're gonna be like, he did that a little bit too. You know what I'm saying? And so even my sister back home, she had a person come up to her asking like, oh man, your brother's killing it. Now this person had known us since we were kids.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, your brother's killing it. She's like, thanks, yeah, you're doing this thing. But is he like really like? Did she look at him like, I've known this boy all your life? You gonna ask that question? And I told her, I said, no, tell that person thank you. Because that's what we aim for as actors. We want to believe like these characters. I don't, she gets that, and even my family gets that. But other than that, we have conversations about, could she deal with something like that? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I ain't gonna try. Like, I think what about
You
if
ain't about to bring
next
Calvin
time we
home
go
with
to
you.
Victoria's Secrets, I'm gonna come with you. No, I mean, I'll watch, but I ain't trying on that. But I'll definitely say, yo, this is good, right? But yeah, it's she doesn't really get that. And plus she's actually, me being on the show, she's growing with me playing the character. So even, my eyes have been opened up, my mind has been opened up to different things. Wow, man, we really judge people
Yeah,
for just wanting to live their lives.
yeah,
It's insane because I look at the 20-something-year-old Anthony and I'd be like, yep, he gay. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's just because I was young and I didn't experience anything. I went to college in Ohio and went to born in Indiana and I didn't see anything else. But living here and being on the show and just being working in the industry, you meet so many different walks of life that if you're so set in your ways, like that's your choice. You just chose that way. You're not even trying to expand your mind and see other things. You're just like, yo, I like my coffee this way. I like my sandwich this way. You're just very, very straight. And, you know, I'm hopefully Calvin can um, make you think.
hmm
'Cause I get so many like women who DM me who will say, "Yo, you were the topic of our like group
yeah,
text or chat. Like, what would you do? Like, once again, I think every woman they check boxes when they're looking for a significant other. Okay, he's good looking. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, but like one or two things are deal breakers, and everybody has their deal breakers.
yeah.
Everybody, men included. We have deal breakers. Oh, I don't want a woman who smokes. We
Who
have
drinks too much?
yeah, we have deal breakers. I want a loud person who's just always on 10. Like
Yeah,
we have deal breakers, and that's not a bad thing. But at the same time, if you open your mind up and you still can't deal with something, then that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? But to have other people influence you, that's
yeah.
kind of like, because it's like my dad used to say. He was like, everybody lonely in the graveyard. Everybody lonely in the graveyard. You can take all these opinions and live your life for someone else, but when it's time to meet, you probably get you by yourself. And they
Yeah,
like, yo, my friends told me, nah, you made those decisions.
yeah.
And it also shows people that are easily influenced.
hmm
You know?
No, definitely. And I think the thing is that what Calvin shows is a lot of things in relationships. When you talked about like checking off the boxes, the thing is, it's so funny because he also shows you that there are boxes you didn't know you actually had that you wanted to check off.
Mm,
He didn't,
absolutely.
it was one of those things where you never thought because in the perception, you would already think you would see what would be gay or something that would be bisexual. And he actually brings another thing to it where you're like, oh shoot, I didn't know, is that other? Like, where did this box come from?
Right.
And then coming into talking to the girls and going back and everything, it also shows that, like you said, from the checking of the boxes, but really having a conversation with the person in front of you, but
Yeah.
also being true to yourself, like, and giving them the same benefit of honesty, like, hey, I can't do this. There was those times where they have to, like, the sexual interaction, and she couldn't do certain things because she couldn't get over the panties,
Right.
but he didn't know until he had to ask after like several attempts, and then so it shows you to really just talk to people because it's not fair to you. You doing your best. You're being your complete 100%,
Mhm.
and I'm only getting 50% of you because you didn't talk to me.
Right. And if when they set her when we Calvin, Maurice, and Javier set her up, and he just snapped. He was like, "Yo, would you just say what's on your mind? Like talk. Like we've had dates, we've had sex, we've done all these things, but you haven't been honest. Like you said, I'm giving you 100% of who I am, which is rare for a black,
Yeah.
which is rare, like really rare to just be fully transparent. And you can't even do me the solid of talking to me. And so that's what I really wanted viewers to understand why Calvin was this snap. And also that he's dealing with all this other shit in his life, like, you know what I'm saying, that she doesn't know about.
Yeah.
But he's still putting on this face and wants to be with her and wants to make her happy and all this stuff. And you can't, only thing I'm not asking you, I'm not like a shiftless Negro trying to stay in your house, trying to, spend your money, use you, do you dirty. Only thing I want is honesty. And you couldn't even do that. So when he snaps, and I understand it, I get it. I love Black women. I love them so much because they stick together, especially when it comes to man. Oh my God, Twitter is beautiful for this. Oh, I'm like, yo, because it was so funny. All of the comments before when Calvin hit the scene, it was like, oh man, he just really wants to be with Sabrina, blah, 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 blah. Oh, well, some women were like, yo, I don't know if I could do the panties, but I mean, he's still a good guy, yada, yada, yada. The minute you do this little thing wrong, like you snap, you get angry, raise your voice, women are like, no, you don't do that. He's probably abusive, girl. And they just come to the defense. It's a beautiful thing. But I also want people to understand, like, men have feelings too. Regardless, like it's hard enough to be a Black man or a Black woman in this society. So for someone to really open up and give you their full authentic self is rare. And I think you should, that's not to be taken lightly because, when you open up to somebody, you're vulnerable. People can use that against you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what if Sabrina was like messy?
Yeah.
Like, what if she was really, really messy and was like, yo, putting this man on blast and going on social media? I'm dating this dude. Now the world knows you're this. It's like, wow. Like, if she was really like that. But so for you to open up and say, this is who I am, it's like, dude, just be honest. Just do me the solid of honesty. And I think when the tragedy hit with his father passed, that kind of allowed, like, yo, life is short. Life is short. Love who you love, like, no matter what, because you get one ride. And you gotta use it, you gotta ride it till the wheels fall off. There's no expiration date. Or, like, oh, you can pass on. It can be anything. I had a homeboy who I looked up to in high school, phenomenal athlete. Like, I wanted to be like him. His brother died at 33 years old from a heart attack.
Oh, wow.
My brother passed away from a heart attack. My father just passed before we went into quarantine from cancer to go film. He passed on the 7th. We went into the bubble on the 9th. You know what I'm saying? And he passed the same way my father on the show passed, from cancer. So that kind of tragedy, like, look, man, I don't want to curse, F everything everybody else got to say. I got to live this life. And if you really my friends, if you really my sisters, or my brothers or whatever, you're going to respect my decision. You may not agree with it. I mean, shoot, there's some stuff that people in my family have done and I've done. I know they don't agree with it. But I'm like, this roller coaster got one.
Yep.
I got this solo ride. So I got to do what makes me happy. And I think everybody, should do what makes them happy.
No, definitely. I definitely agree with that 100%. My mom passed of pancreatic cancer when I was 14, a week right before my middle school graduation. So yeah, I've always been that way. Everyone's always like, Mike, you just always stay focused. I tell people a lot of times, and they're like, do you consider this or that? I said, look, I'm too selfish in my own life to focus on what you're doing. I said, I stick to my own lane because I said, look, you can be here. And pancreatic cancer is one of those things where once they find it, it's already basically too late. So I said, seeing that, going through the progression of, hospital to tube down your throat to, having to wear the garments to, like, making sure, she was at UCLA Medical. I said, once you see that and once you have to, like, you bury the one who gave you life, I said, you have a whole new outlook on life. I said, I promise you, I said I don't see what anyone else is doing because I'm just in my own little bubble.
And you can't afford to. And
Yeah.
then everybody's experiences and everybody's stuff is different. Like there's certain things that I may be able to handle that you can't, and vice versa. And that doesn't mean that it's wrong. It just means that we're built differently. That's what the beauty of individuals are.
Yep.
That everybody is built. I don't want to be in a world where everybody thinks the same. You know, um, I want to be in a world where everybody loves everybody,
Hmm.
no matter what they do. Even your enemies. I was raised, my mom was like, look, you love everybody, even the ones that are virtuous. You pray for them. You don't hold that animosity. I don't even like getting angry when I act because I don't like the way it makes me feel. Like yelling, I don't even yell.
Yeah.
I don't like the energy that comes with that. So for me, it's I don't know. It's tough, man. You know, hold on, one second. I'm sorry. Oh, I thought somebody was coming to my house.
There's a lot going on out there for y'all.
Hey,
So.
man, look, man, I got a knock on my door, and this earlier today, and this brother like tried to walk in my crib. I was like, hold on. He was like, oh man, wrong unit. My bro. I'm like, where are your shoes, brother? Like, this man had no shoes on. I'm like, okay, yeah. I lost my train of thought, man. I'm sorry.
No, it's no problem. It's no problem. It's all the good naturalness of it all. No, that's funny. I do want to end on one note with, I think that in that like that climax with Calvin, going back to the character to end with one thing for people, is that it also showed that the black man can't even be vulnerable. You can't. Even in our own community, we still made him be this aggressive, angry black man. Where it's like, no, he was just fed up, and why, black women get that same thing. They get the whole, if they're too loud, if they're this, then they're angry and aggressive. And then we kind of put it back on our own community where it's like, well, Calvin's just mad and he has a right to be frustrated.
Right. I mean, and the thing is, and I'll say this, black women have endured so much. And I'm not going to sit here and say that, black men, we aren't a part of it. I'm not going to say like we're just innocent, you know. So the fact that they, have a wall up, like I get it. It's me being able to understand, like, okay, you've been hurt. I totally understand. This is where compassion has to come into play. I see you. I've probably hurt you. I'm sorry. But at the same time, I go through shit too. You know, and I'm well in my right to go through shit. Don't call me sensitive. Don't give me a label because, oh, well, you did, women have been doing this to men, all this, and it's like, okay, yeah, but there are still some good men. I mean, if you look at the character of Danny,
Yeah.
With Preston, she's that wall. And I mean, not to say she doesn't have a right to have that wall up. And the experience of dating a white man is like new to her. So it's like, yo, even last night's episode, it was like, yo, But here's the kicker though. My boy Trinity, who plays Preston, that's my bro, man. It's so funny because everybody was showing him so much love, and they still do on Twitter. Because he the only decent man on the show. Man, when he handcuffed her to that bed, I was just sitting on my phone like, oh no, he trying to be some slave play type shit. Oh no, girl, you need to leave him. I'm like, yeah, but I've seen you 50 texts before saying that this brother was a great dude. It's like the minute you do something messed up, like everybody comes out the woodwork. And men do that too. I'm not gonna sit here and say this, women. We do that too. I always tell people, I feel like every man, when they're younger, wants to be a good dude. But what happens is they get that first heartbreak. And then they go into hoe mode. They go into, I know I did, I know I did, I know I did. 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 I had my first heartbreak. Ooh, high school
Hungry.
sweetheart. Oh man, because I saw my father. He messed around with my mom, and I used to. I'm a mama's boy, so I saw how it affected her. He's
Mhm.
crying and stuff, and I was like, I will never, ever do that to another woman, right? Fast forward, you get your first heartbreak. Now, mind you, women were like, trying to, girls were trying to get with me, but every girlfriend I had, I'm like, I'm marrying her. I'm married. My sister would be like, bro, you've only known her for like 3 weeks. No, I don't care. Because I did not want that, put any woman in. But then you get that first heartbreak and you're like, oh no, every woman's like this. I gotta make up for lost time. So you out here doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Because you left all this on the table and you're like, nah, I'm gonna do it. But then you have an epiphany like, yo, man, at least I did. Like, this ain't you.
Yeah.
What you're trying to escape, you're actually becoming because of one situation.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of women have gone through that too. One guy breaks your heart, one dude plays you, so now the wall is just like, well, why are you so nice? Nah, I can open my own door. Nah, because you got something. You trying to finesse me. It's like, there are some good brothers out here. You can't let your past dictate your potential future.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, it's being on this show, bro, is eye opening. I'm still learning about myself as an individual, how the world really works, perceives people, uh, just being just more open,
Yeah.
being more open and accepting of people. We all, we may not understand why someone does something, and it's not for us to understand it. But I do believe that everyone deserves to be respected for their beliefs, as long as it's not, racist and causes division or separation amongst each other. Um, but I feel like we should all be, able to have discussions without, my way is the right way. Like the presidential debates. It's like, look, no one is trying to really. When is the last time you seen a presidential debate and somebody said, you know what, you got a point? No, what they're doing is like they want the ooh moments. They just trying to talk over each other. So it's really just, and that's what we do as people.
Yeah.
If we really sit down and be like, okay, I see where you're coming from. Okay, yeah, and that's what I want people to understand about uh, Calvin and the rest of these characters.
Yeah.
So many women or so many people. I'm not gonna say women. So many people have so many opinions on everybody else's on everybody else's stuff. But
Yeah.
I'm like, well, what if your stuff was put on blast? Ain't nobody being like, I've not seen a tweet yet who says, I feel Andy. I was dating a married man too. No. Even though you probably were, but you like, nah, I can't put my business out there. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
So
definitely.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. No, thank you for that. That's a great way to end everything. Is there anything that you think our audience should look forward to seeing you in? Any new projects coming up, or anything that you just want them to follow on?
Let's see. I will. Well, we were supposed to premiere on Labor Day. The Aretha Franklin uh, biopic. Well, not the biopic, the bio series on Nat Geo. But Cynthia Erivo, Oscar-nominated, Grammy, Tony, not award-winning actress who's playing who's playing Aretha Franklin on Nat Geo on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
I think they're going back into production so they can finish it, because of COVID happening and everything. Um, that, um, keep watching Sistas,
Yep.
every Wednesday, 9 p.m. BET. Yeah, and me and my friend are talented filmmakers that I've been blessed to work with for years. By the name of Justin Poe. We're working on some stuff. So getting that out there and just trying to stay safe, man, without mentally. spiritually, physically, because 2020 is challenging.
Yeah.
It's really has been a challenge. It's honestly the toughest year that I've ever experienced.
Yeah.
Somebody was like, well, your grandparents, they went through some stuff. I'm like, yeah, I'm not trying to compare it. I probably would have sold it back then. I'm sorry. You're not about to spray me with a water hose. I'm sorry. I'm not built like that. Like, I was like, shoot, I told my dad, my dad beat cancer like 3 times. Well, 2 times, and the third got him. But I was just like, they don't make brothers like they used to. I'm like, Jesus, like they went through some stuff. Like me, I get a cold. I'm like, oh, babe, oh, I need some medicine. I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not even going to compare this 2020 to what they went through. But
Yeah.
for me, my lifetime, this has been tough. So we have to, just practice compassion. No matter who you vote, I already know who I'm like, but no matter who you vote, be open to a conversation. You know what I'm saying? Be open to understanding that we all are different. Be open to, you know, uh, looking at facts. This man who's in office right now is he said it. He's a misogynist. He's a sexist. He's a racist. He's all these things, and don't turn a blind eye to it. And that goes for anybody, Democrat, Republican, whoever. You
Yeah.
know, if I want a person who is going to serve us all, black, white, if you're an American citizen, serve us all.
Yeah.
Period. I don't care what your political views. I don't care. What are you gonna do for the people? That's the ultimate thing. Um, and this pandemic, it's really opening. It's opening a lot of people's eyes to how much privilege that we think we have in this country.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want to wear a mask to go into a grocery store because you feel that's your country. That's people are dying,
Yeah.
but you feel, oh no, this is a hope, or I don't want to wear a mask because of this, that, and the other. I'm like, wow, we really are. And other countries are looking at us like y'all are crazy. And in doing all this, it's making us look like we're not that superpower we've been portraying to the rest of the world. So you're pretty much showing a chink in our armor,
Yep.
and it's not right. You know what I'm saying? So we have to keep our mental health, our physical health, spiritual health. 'Cause I feel like God is going to get us through.
Yep.
That's the only person who's going to get us through. So yeah.